Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all, including those that are live on the line. My name is Sochaile Kanyile. I'm the General Secretary of the South African Association of Public Accounts Committees. I'll be facilitating the discussion today. Let me introduce before you the leadership of the Southern African Development Community Organization of Public Accounts Committees, which is SADCOPAC. Our chairperson is Honorable Mwambazi. He'll be addressing you soon. Then this side next to him, it's Honorable Kaboyoka. Honorable Kaboyoka is from Tanzania. He's our deputy chairperson of SADCOPAC. Then next to him is Honorable Poya. He is the vice chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee in Malawi, but he's also the treasurer of SADCOPAC. And I'm going the other side, next to the chairperson. It is our General Secretary, Honorable Moloti. He's the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee at Botswana Parliament. As I said, he's our Secretary General. Then next to him, in my far right, is our Deputy Treasurer, Honorable Nikis. He's the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee in Mozambique. So they'll make the opening statement, and then after that, if there are questions, we'll then take them. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you, and good afternoon. The Vice Chairperson of SADCOPAC, Honorable Kaboyoka, the Secretary General of SADCOPAC, Honorable Mlutsi, the Treasurer General, Honorable Poya from Malawi, and our Deputy Treasurer General, Honorable Nikisi from Mozambique. Our host, the delegation and leadership of SAPAC, our extinguished host, and also the media. Let me welcome you to this afternoon media briefing at the eve of our AGM, our 15th AGM and our 19th anniversary as SADCOPAC, which we begin tomorrow under the theme Enhancing Oversight for Advanced Ethical Public Financial Management, Governance and Accountability Towards the Development of Africa. So we'll be joined by various public accounts committees from our various sister regions in Africa. This is also coming at the same time as we celebrate our anniversary as SADCOPAC, and also looking at milestones which we've achieved as an organization through our 10 years, in which our work is mainly provision of oversight to various member countries in terms of accountability to our executives, in terms of appropriation of our country's budgets, and to ensure that there's good governance and also service delivery to our people. Let me make mention that from inception, I think this coincides with the formation of SADCOPAC, which was hosted in Kimberley, South Africa in May 2002 at the meeting of SADC member states. This is when this association was birthed officially, and also prior to that, a meeting in Joburg in 2003, on which our various member states were present to ensure that this organization was launched. And South African Association of Public Accounts, SAPAC, was appointed as secretariat to that effect. So this is briefly just giving you highlights on how this organization was formed, and we've made a lot of strides in our 20 years of existence to that effect. Suffice to say that we've also had a lot of challenges as an organization to that effect, in which I think with the support of member states, we've been able to mitigate some of them to ensure that we are afloat, and we continue to provide the oversight through our various public accounts committees and similar committees in other jurisdictions in the SADC region. Over the 3 days, we will develop and adopt long-term programs and areas of focus to strengthen oversight on financial management, accountability by individual public accounts committees in SADC region, also to take SADCOPAC to greater heights in its role of coordinating its members, working with its partners in SADC and its influence in Africa globally over issues of oversight on financial management and accountability to that effect. This goal is to orient the association towards the next 20 years of exercising oversight on public financial management and accountability to that effect. We will be charting a medium to long-term way forward. We can we'll break into sessions as we begin our deliberations after the official opening tomorrow. And the first area of focus will be strengthening oversight in public financial management to ensure that our various member states are well equipped and capacitated to that effect to ensure that they're able to carry out their mandate to that effect. Another area of focus will be strengthening oversight on public financial accountability, also coming up with various frameworks such as the model law on public financial management to that effect. Those brings accountability. Also, we'll look at the period during and after audit by our various Supreme Audit institutions, which is our Office of Auditor Generals in Westminster setup, as well as the Courts of Accounts in our Lusophone and Francophone setup to that effect. So these are some of the things we'll be looking at. The third area of focus will be focusing on public sector coordinated partnership for enhanced ethical public financial management and accountability. As it were, we are very much aware the issues of public service vis-a-vis accountability in our various jurisdictions. So this also will be our area of focus to ensure that we look at how we partner with the public sector in terms of public financial management and accountability. If you have a function of public sector or public service, ensures that service delivery to our people will then be done effectively. Apart from that, another area of focus will be also looking at social mobilization of enhanced oversight on public financial management accountability. This theme will facilitate discussions around individual and bodies in society which should be having interest on ethical standards in public financial management. So we are looking at CSOs, non-governmental organizations. How do the public have a part in a budget execution? How do they have a part in our deliberations as public hearings? How do they participate to ensure that they know the entire budget cycle, they know the entire processes of provision of oversight by various public accounts committees to ensure that there's good governance and also good service delivery to that effect. And as it were, we are aware that non-governmental organizations and CSOs also play a critical role to ensure that governments are accountable, governments also appropriate, also there's a prudential management of public resources to ensure that if it's budgeted for water, money should be spent for water as such under that sector to that effect to ensure that our people are catered for. We'll also be looking at discussing the positioning of SADCOPAC for enhanced oversight in public financial management and accountability in Africa and globally. This will be discussed focusing on the role that should be played by SADCOPAC as a coordinating body in directing and influencing the advocating of ethical public financial management. We are doing some of these issues with our cooperating partners such as AfroPac, AfroSci-E, AfroDad, ATAF to ensure that we look at issues of be it illicit financial flows, how do we ensure that we mitigate those issues, but also balancing the issues of incentives as well as illicit financial flows, because that we ensure that it does not deplete our the domestic resource mobilization in our various countries, which is very important for our budget execution to that effect. So this is how we are positioning ourselves as SADCOPAC, and also in liaison with some of these organizations, as well as the AU STC meeting on taxation and issues of illicit financial flows in our various jurisdictions, because these are some of the issues we are going through as member states of SADC, and how can we then mitigate them to ensure that we curb issues of transfer pricing through our multinational investments which come in our various countries, being South Africa, being Zambia, because these are some of the issues. If we don't mitigate them, then we deplete our domestic resource mobilization to that effect. And I'm glad that seeing some of the presenters from SARS and other organizations such as ATAF, which can provoke our minds as we have these discussions in our conference. The next area will be enhancing oversight, repositioning public accounts committees in the fourth industrial revolution. This theme covers the global move towards the use of technology to improve competence. This way of doing things will have an impact on function of oversight in public financial management and accountability of public accounts committees in SADCOPAC. This is a very important topical area in which we need to also reposition ourselves as various public accounts committees in the region to ensure that we move with time in terms of provision of oversight. This is an IT age. We need to be competent also as members of such committees to ensure that we are able to understand what is data analytics, how can we use data, how can we ensure that we use such models or tools to ensure that we interrogate the executive in terms of appropriation of public finances on behalf of our people in various jurisdictions to that effect. So these are some of the topical areas which we'll be looking at as we focus into our main conference. Another area is strengthening oversight to advance financial management and accountability on the developmental objectives. This is the acknowledgement that all countries have their development goals, which should be derived from objectives of achieving global development goals. And the Africa states should also prioritize the AU Agenda for 2063. And as member countries, we've got our development goals. Zambia, we've got the 8th National Development Agenda, where we've got certain objectives. We've got also the SDGs and all that, and also a lot of goals which our various countries are looking and working towards that. So also we want to strategically strengthen our organization, that we're able to objectively follow some of those objectives to ensure that our member states to this organization are in the right direction. The 8th area of focus will be building appropriate capacity for effective public accounts committees. Building capacity does not end in one day, but as we proceed, we are always building capacity. And the major detriment we have as SADCOPAC in terms of capacity building of our various member states, it's this high turnover of members of parliament, because from time to time we have elections, we have members who don't return. Tomorrow we might not be here as this executive, some of them might be here. So it's imperative that we continue to capacitate member states as and when they come out of elections to ensure that they have appropriate skill and tact to carry out their mandate of provision of oversight, checking our various executives in our jurisdiction. So that is also the role of SADCOPAC in terms of capacity building, training. We've done a couple of this year. We were in Angola, Lesotho, we're in Zambia, and we continue to push that our member states are well capacitated. The last area of focus will be on social impact to combat illicit financial flows, public and private sector cooperation. This is a very topical area, like I've already mentioned, to that effect, that it's important. There are a lot of doctrines, but our argument is that we should have a robust or a base scope system which is tailor-made for African countries, because we do understand our environment, one as lawmakers, one as technocrats, on how we can ensure that we combat illicit financial flows. Because yes, we need the foreign direct investments in our countries, where multinations come in extractive industries such as copper mining, cobalt mining, zinc mining, diamond mining. But then, even as they come to invest, because these are huge investments, as the executive will give them incentive to say we've got a tax holiday. When they've got the tax holiday, when they've got certain incentives which entails that it comes to invest, then from there we know that our domestic resource mobilization will be depleted, because instead of charging them on certain turnovers, we tend to shift because they've got incentives. But how then do we harmonize those issues, and also issues of transfer pricing? They want to go and send all the revenue to other countries where they've got low tax rates, and then us as a country, we are now depleted in terms of the turnover on taxes. So we now charge them less taxes, because we can only charge them on turnover or other revenue. So these are some of the topical issues which we need to discuss and ensure that we provoke our minds and see how we can mitigate illicit financial flows, and also how robust our financial intelligence centers in terms of provision of information to the Office of the Auditor General, the Anti-Corruption Commission, so that we are able to combat some of these issues to that effect, so that as a country we can manage them effectively. Because as it were, you find some of these multinationals, they come with very highly skilled personnel, where they are CFOs, they are CEOs, who are aware and they know how to do some of these things. Then we find the Office of the Auditor General are not up to speed in terms of skill set to ensure that they combat some of these things. So we want to provoke ourselves as people who provide oversight to the government, and also the Office of the Auditor General being our permanent witness. How then do we ensure that they're also independent, they've got adequate skills to carry out some of these audits to combat the illicit financial flows? So these are some of the issues we'll be looking at in the nutshell. Under this theme, we'll also look at the proposed cooperation between all role players in the fighting of illicit financial flows, and the role of SADCOPAC in providing leadership in this regard. So, colleagues, these are some of the exciting topics and themes that we'll be looking at as we proceed with our conference starting tomorrow and moving forward. So I thought of, with the other office bearers, that we give you a synopsis and things that we'll be looking at as we begin our meetings tomorrow. And after the AGM, then we proceed to celebrate the anniversary, our 20th anniversary, and that will have eventually a farewell gala, dinner gala, and a handover flag to the next people will be hosting us for our AGM respectively. We also commend the Southern African Association of Public Accounts Committee for their hosting of this 15th AGM and the 19th Annual General Meeting to that effect, on the celebration of SADCOPAC. With this, let me take this opportunity to welcome all the delegates and wish us a fruitful deliberation. Our capable coordinating team will be able to will be available to assist with our needs to ensure that we have a comfortable stay as well as a productive deliberation. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Now we'll open up for any questions that are there. I'm not sure how we're going to handle those that are online. I'll be guided. But as we had said, there are some of us who are online. who have joined the link. I'm not sure if there are any questions that you'd like to ask. Yes, you can introduce yourself, the media house, then you ask the question.
My name is Bosima Kosili, from SABC. Chair, if I can maybe ask this question from you. According to your own observation in your member states, do you think political parties allow their members who are members of parliament to serve enough time in the public accounts committees, allow them maybe to serve more than 5-year term, or they always keep on changing them? And what is the impact of that, according to your own observation?
For your answer, Chair, let's check if there are other questions. Okay. If not, yeah, over to you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Yes, like you've been rightly put it, first and foremost, our resolutions, which we think adopted at our AGM in Botswana, was to ensure that we have members of parliament in these committees, such as Public Accounts Committee, to serve for a term of 5 years, because like I've already said, we build capacity to those members. So imagine if we build capacity in certain members, then in the second year, they are swapped from Public Accounts Committee, maybe to a Committee on Agriculture. Then we need to capacitate the new members. So even if training does not end, but we need to keep sharpening skills, but it's important that we maintain some of these committees. That's a recommendation and resolution of SADCOPAC to our member states. But suffice to say that the member states, some of them, they are guided by their standing orders of their various countries where they're coming from. For example, in Zambia, every session you have to vote and have new chairperson of a Public Accounts Committee. Certain members can be removed. So we are advocating through SADCOPAC to ensure that our member states can adhere to that, to ensure that when members of parliament are appointed to Public Accounts Committee, there's consistency. As we build capacity, it's important that they stay for the entire 5 years in such a committee, or maybe 2.5 years, to ensure that there's that consistency as we move to ensure that we capacitate them. Yes, certain member states, they don't do that, but we've been advocating through our organization to ensure that they adhere to that resolution which was passed by our AGM. Thank you.
Are there any further questions? Okay, so we've heard that there are some of you who would also want to have one-on-one sessions. If you can organize it with Tebe, so that then he can set it out for you. Tebe is here with us. Let me take this opportunity to thank the office bearers for availing themselves, and also thank the members of the media who are here, those who are in here, and those who have joined us online. Thank you very much for taking the time to with us. Thank you very much. This media briefing is adjourned.